May I present to you the MX-5 LGS. LGS stands for Low Grip Study, and you can consider it my science experiment. I have this hypothesis. Fun equals horsepower over grip. And if it remains true, I think there's two ways that we can get to the most fun. The obvious way is by increasing the horsepower. You know, high horsepower cars are fun, right? I think there's another way. So to figure this out, let's rewind back to our early days in mathematics where we learned about fractions. There's two ways to increase the value of a fraction. You can take the number on top, make it bigger. In our case, horsepower. Yeah, but that's kind of expensive. To put a lot of power in a Miata especially, you probably have to put a different engine in. Then you probably need standalone ECU, and well, you got to figure out all the cooling because it's going to get hot. And you keep adding that all up, it gets expensive really fast. Not to mention all the things you might break in the process. All right, what's the other way we learned in math? We can take the number on the bottom and decrease it. That also increases the number. So to increase fun, we can increase horsepower or decrease grip. So that's what we're gonna try here. Lowering grip can be done pretty simply. In fact, most people, when they build a track car, one of the first things they do is increase the grip. And that can be a lot of fun and it gets a lot of capability out of a car. But what's it doing to our equation? It's lowering the fun factor potentially. And while there's still a ton of fun in pushing a car at any performance threshold on the track as hard as you can, you don't get all those same opportunities on the street. So I think with lowering the grip, we're gonna not only have a car that's a ton of fun on track, but we're gonna have more fun with it on the street. We might even be able to take it drifting. We can have fun in autocross. I mean, you name it. We can have a lot of fun in this car, and we'll do this whole thing without spending a ton of money. My approach is simple. The engineering parameters around this car were built around fairly low grip. So these are 420 tread wear tires. They are TBB TR66s, and no, I've never heard of them either. But at the end of a long weekend at Barber Motorsports Park and all the street miles it took to get there and home and driving around town, they don't look too bad considering. I put as many of my friends as I could in the car. We drove it hard. I was sliding almost every turn, and there's no chunking at all. There's a little cupping on the edges and there's some heat evidence, but it looks like these tires are still going to last quite a while. And at under 70 bucks a tire, it's more than I could have ever expected. So we've got 420 tread wear tires that are really cheap to replace, and we could probably get away without changing the suspension, but if we did, what could we get out of that? And that's part of my next thoughts here. I'm thinking we can design suspension and the overall upgrades to this car around these tires. I think what we'll end up with is something that just gives us sensory overload and all the best experiences of driving a car at its absolute limit and make them more accessible so we can enjoy it all the time. And that's why I want to deeply explore this formula, this theory, this hypothesis, share the results with you. At the end, I want to be able to hand over a guide. How can you build a car that you will have the most fun with without breaking the bank? And that's the whole theory of this. You know, admittedly, I spent all year racing with Grid Life in GLTC, and I built a very serious NA Miata. It's a lot of fun, and it was a great way for me to learn about engineering, building a car to perform at a high level, developing myself as a driver. But at the end of the day, I had to remind myself to have fun because it was so serious, and it cost so much money. It's not for everybody, and you know, people complain about social media, but a lot of times what succeeds in social media is very real. And what succeeds is what people can relate to and enjoy learning about. And I'm not sure racing is that. I think everyone can relate to a fun car that's simple and cheap. This is something you could go buy and you could go have fun with it. And I'm not encouraging you to buy $2,000 worth of tires to have more fun with your $4,000 car, $6,000 car. I'm encouraging you to buy $300 tires to have more fun with your potentially $3,000 car. There's a lot of fun to be had in simple stuff, and let me know what you want to see me do. I'm gonna try to take this thing drifting and autocross and in the mountains and many, many more laps on track. And yeah, we're gonna have fun doing this. Thanks for watching. So what do you think? Am I onto something or am I crazy? Let's find out.